Lance, what drew you into your sport?
My parents put me into figure skating at 3 years old. They put me into the can skate program or the pre-skate program at the Brant Skating Club. And it was so that I could learn to skate for hockey. My dad was a big hockey player, hockey fan. And yeah, I think like most Canadian families, they just put me in it so I could learn to skate and with the hopes that one day I would go on to play hockey.
Yeah.
And then from there, it became apparent in a couple of years that I had a talent for skating. And then I must have, somewhere along the line, decided that figure skating was what I enjoyed, and I stuck with it. Never did actually go and try hockey. To this day, I've never played hockey. So yeah, that's how it happened. I think my passion for it developed over time, after being put in it for a completely different reason.
Great story.
Yeah.
Do you have any mentors that have had an impact on your life or your sport or your career?
So many. I think I've been lucky to be put into situations or to put myself into situations where almost everybody that I've worked with up until this day has been somebody that I can learn from, somebody that knows more about the situation than I do. So I think everybody in that respect has been a mentor. I was thinking about this before. I think the biggest one, I've never told him this, but it would be my dad. My dad and my mom to an extent. My dad was a sports guy. We were very, very different. Growing up, we were complete opposites, or I was not into the same type of sports that he was. And he had to learn really quickly, having a son like me that was involved in figure skating. He had to learn about that world that he had never probably even imagined being a part of. But I think I saw his determination. I saw the passion that he put into all of his sports, and he always talked about how he was always the shortest guy on the team, but he always gave it 150%. He was always hustling, and that was kind of burned into me at a young age that that's what I had to do. If I found something that I loved, I could also be a success at it if I tried my best and I stuck with it and never gave up, no matter what kind of challenge came along. So I'd say my father.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the sacrifices he made along the way to keep me in the sport. That's another thing. Seeing that when you believe in something and you have a passion for something, if you want it to happen, you have to make sacrifices. So I did learn a lot from him, and yeah, even to this day, I would say that he's my mentor.
What are some highlights of your career?
Been so many. Back in the days when I was a competitive figure skater, the biggest highlight was there were a couple years when I was 16, 17, 18, when I made it out of the provincial national ranks into the international circuit. That was the biggest time of my career, I would say. That had been a goal from the time I started skating, to get out of Brantford and compete against the people that I was seeing on television. When that happened, it just kind of catapulted me into a different echelon of the sport and really lit a fire underneath me to want to keep going and do bigger and better things. Winning the very first international competition that I went to, that would be probably the highlight. Completely unexpected, because I had no idea of what the field was like outside of the country. But to get there and to perform my best in that situation, I would say that was the highlight. And that really pushed me forward and kept me going for the years after that, trying to do bigger and better things.
How has sport impacted your life?
It's been everything for me. It's all I knew as a child. The sport of figure skating taught me so many lessons. Perseverance, getting over adversity, failing. I failed so many times I can't probably even, I would be here all day if I had to list all of my failures, but I learned to get over that and work through that and not give up until I came up with a solution and a way through it. Things like that have really impacted the way I approach everything else in my life. And I've met so many people and I've had so many doors open to me, had so much help along the way from so many talented and kind individuals all across the country. And it's led me to where I am today. being a skating choreographer and a skating coach, and being able to work with kids and help them through the things that I worked through when I was a kid. And
Right.
yeah, so my whole life is because of sport. And I wouldn't know any other way, but I wouldn't want it any other way either. Yeah.
What does it mean to be inducted into the Brantford Area Sports Hall of Recognition?
It's incredible. As I was saying earlier to you, when I was a kid, like 9, 10, 11, I used to come into the hall every time that I went skating at the old North Park Arena, and I would walk around and look at all of the displays, and it really was a dream of mine to one day be here, to do something that would have an impact, a lasting impact, and something that I would be remembered for. And for it to actually be happening, it's 22 years after I retired from my sport. So it's been a long time and something that I kind of put out of my mind. But for it to happen now, it's incredible. It's an incredible honor to be placed amongst all of these other, Wayne Gretzky, to be in the same hall as him. Doesn't get better than that, right?
No.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm incredibly thankful and grateful.
Great. What advice would you share for a young aspiring athlete?
Well, I would say that when you find your passion, no matter what age it is, to go for it, no matter what obstacles you might face. I had a lot of resistance in the 70s, 80s, early 90s. I had a lot of support from the community, but I also came across a lot of obstacles. People didn't always understand what I was doing. A male in the sport of figure skating back then, especially in our small town, was unusual. But I stuck with it. I relied on my support system. I dug deep and really believed that what I was doing was what I was meant to do. And I stuck it out, and amazing things have happened because of that. So I would say when you find what you want to do, go forward, be brave, don't listen to what other people say, and stick with it, because you never know where it's going to lead you. It could lead you here.
Terrific. Thanks, Lance.
You're welcome.
That was a great message.